Recording now. Set.
So there are 4 areas in the body that you want to consider when you are trying to improve your posture. And they are primarily your chest, your abs, your hips, and I forgot. Wait a minute, I did a mister. It's abs, chest.
Back?
Oh yeah, yes, thank you. Okay. So,
Not just pretty face.
what's that?
So
No, it's
not-
not just good. I know, very good.
Me.
So, there are 4 areas in the body that you want to consider when you are trying to improve your posture. You want to work with your abdominals, strengthen. You want to work with your upper back, strengthen. And you want to open or stretch your chest and open or stretch your hip flexors. Right now, what I'd like to do is to show you a very effective exercise for improving not just the strength of your abdominals, but actually the flatness of your abdominals. Many of us have done abdominal work or consider it the work that we choose to do most often is abdominal curls. And those are very, very powerful. Yet, ironically, just by merely keeping your abdominals pulled in and lifted is quite possibly a more effective way of toning our abdominals, especially in sculpting them in the fashion that most of us women prefer them to be, i.e. we want flat abdominals. So I'm going to demonstrate to you a technique that I refer to as activated position. Because what I've noticed in the many years that I have been involved in the fitness industry and working with private clients is that many people, when they do the abdominal curls, they have a tendency to actually overdevelop their abdominals or to develop them in a shape that is more rounded as opposed to flat. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So what I'd like you to do when you're doing these exercises is to lay down on the ground with your feet flat on your knees bent and your feet flat on the ground. I'd like you to lift up your hips a little bit so that you allow your low back to lengthen. It's not to be flat, but it's going to lengthen towards the floor as opposed to be overarched. Your knees and toes are facing parallel to one another, and you're going to take your toes and slightly turn them in. Now, most people, when they're practicing the abdominal curl, is that they'll place their hands behind their head, opening their chest, which is an excellent position. And as they come up, we instruct people to use their abdominals, not their hands and arms to pull their head up, but to use the strength of their abdominals to lift their upper body, head, neck, shoulders, up off the floor. What happens for most people is that if they don't think about first drawing the abdominals in and holding them firm, they have a tendency to engage the abdominals only part way up, and then the abdominal wall begins to push up. What we want to do is to make sure that the abdominal wall lays flat throughout the whole movement. So what we're first going to do is we're going to imagine that our abdominals have fibers that connect through the abdominal cavity towards the belly button. And imagine, if you will, that your belly button is the hub on a wheel. And the spokes of the wheel, of course, are all connected to the hub. And we're going to take the hub and we're going to press the hub towards our spine. And all the spokes of the wheel now are pressed taut towards the center of our torso or towards our belly button. We're going to then very gently lift only up about an inch our shoulders, head, and neck while cradled in our arms. And this is called our activated position. It's in this position, if you to take one hand and press on your abdominal wall, it's all very firm, it's very tight, it's very taut, it's contracted. It's pulling our ribs down, the sides of our waist in, and it's also very gently pulling up on our pubic or pelvic bone, everything coming towards the core or center of our abdominal muscle. This is the beginning and ending of each curl. as opposed to most people who start out in a completely flat position. So we draw the hub towards our low back, tightening up the spokes of the wheel, lifting our shoulders, neck, and head about an inch or two off the floor, and this is where we begin. And then we're only going to come up about another inch or two, keeping and making sure that the abdominal wall doesn't push up as we come up, but actually pushes down as we come up. And we only come up as far as we can to keep this nice and flat, and then we go ahead and lower. And again, remember, this is the beginning and start position. We don't lower all the way down to the mat. So let's go ahead and do a series of 8 abdominal curls. Knees and toes are parallel to one another. Toes are facing slightly in so that our legs are very stable. We're going to go ahead and begin by compressing our abdominal wall towards the floor by drawing the hub of the wheel towards our spine. And we're going to lift slightly up off the mat, and this is our activated or beginning position. And then we're going to go ahead and curl up and open, and up and open. Your eyes are just gazing out, just slightly diagonally up over your knees. Your neck is relaxed in your head and arms. That's 4, 5, and open. You can exhale as you come up, and inhale as you come down, and 2 more, 7, and 8. And then come all the way down and relax. And you'll know if you're doing it really well if you actually feel pretty fatigued after only doing 8 repetitions. So what this brings up and demonstrates is that it's not the more reps that you do, but it's how you do them. It's the proper body alignment and technique that makes each abdominal curl really powerful in sculpting your abs the way that you would like them to look.
Wrap. Now do one more.
No, I can't. I'm too tired. I don't like it anymore. No, we're done. 3:30. I gotta go home.
I'm kidding. Let's do it.
Is that little thing you were saying? 5?
Yep. It's battered.
Okay.
That's
And then your
perfect.
I rolled the tape. So don't you think we could do